I'm Ken Jr. and welcome to Train World TV. Here you'll find the latest and greatest in model trains. If you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. And if you're new to our channel, we're glad you're here, and I invite you to click the subscribe button and hit that bell notification so you'll never miss a video. Now, we'd also love to send you exclusive deals and special announcements that you won't find anywhere else. So be sure to sign up for our emails, TW Text, and stay connected with us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Now, you can find all the links in the description box below or trainworld.com. And without further ado, enjoy today's video. And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Thomas Tuesday. And what a action-packed night Christian has in store for us tonight. And put it in the chat if you're excited. I see a lot of comments already. Doug's in the house. Yes, everybody's excited. Put in the chat if you're pumped up about tonight. And let us know where you're from, because we're always interested to see how far our reach is. And usually we have a bunch of, we got someone from Korea today. That's good to see. Always see, happy to see where our reach goes and the Thomas fandom goes all around the world. So, Christian, how you doing?
I'm doing well, Ken. You know, spring is finally here. The weather is nice outside. And I'm just super excited for yet another Thomas Tuesday event. We've got a brand new guest, Brendan Reyes 10. A lot of people know for years he's been in the fandom, for over a decade, I believe. And Brendan, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Thank you for having me on and inviting me to be here. Been wanting to be on here for a while. I watch all the Thomas Tuesdays, and they're fun videos to put on in the background while you're also modeling. So I'm glad to be here. I'm doing pretty good. How are all you guys doing, by the way?
Put it in the chat, guys. How are you all doing tonight?
Yeah.
Or morning, afternoon, depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah. That's a lot of different countries tonight. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Ireland,
I saw Colombia.
Yeah, very far.
Thomas is an international passion, Ken. It really is.
And Christian, you still got to announce Doug is here.
I was just about to get into that, Ken. Guys, Doug Blaine is back yet again with another locomotive reveal. Never before seen sample of a new product that was just announced last summer, as well as another product which we didn't state what it's going to be just yet, but you'll find out what it is with a very cool video. It also includes, I believe, the latest release. So you'll find out more in detail of what I'm talking about when you see the video. But Doug Blaine, how are you doing this evening?
Great to be with you all. Thanks for having me. And it's always a good evening for Thomas Tuesday. So thanks for having me.
They want to know when Bachmann Doug is coming.
Bachmann Doug, what does that mean?
I guess your own figure. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know about that. We'll have to see about that.
Doug, watch that be the top selling product. Not Thomas, not any other product. It's going to be the Doug figure. That's going to be number one.
Wow.
All right, we'll work on that. How about it?
Very cool.
But yes, Ken, I'm super excited for tonight's event once again. Brendan's got a lot of awesome stuff to showcase, as well as Doug. And without further ado, Ken, I think we'll kick it right off to Brendan.
Well, before Brendan goes, let's kick it off with a raffle. Let's get the excitement buzz going. And then this way, we won't pick a winner right away. We'll wait till a little later on. And this way, everybody stays on to see Brendan and Doug a little later on. But we have a actual Christian prop, a set prop that he used for Bachmann, Thomas with Annie and Clarabelle starter set. And we can't show you the other side because Christian, I guess his packaging wasn't 100% to standards.
Let's not talk about it, Ken. Let's not talk about it.
But so it is slightly used by Christian, and if you'd like, we could probably get Christian to sign it if he stops on in anytime soon. So it could be signed if you have a preference. But this is seen. Did we post the video yet?
Yes, I think it was posted since January.
Okay, great. So this actually has been in my office for a while, and I have a ton of Bachmann Thomas products that I don't even know what to do with anymore. So we're going to raffle this off. And again, this was a series that Christian and I kind of wanted to put out there and really how to get into trains. And obviously, Thomas is a great gateway into trains, and Bachmann makes a great starter set product. So Christian did a great job putting this video together, and we have it published to our Train World YouTube channel. And it's really just about getting into the hobby, and Christian goes about setting it all up and how easy it is, and Bachmann, just how great their starter sets are to get into the hobby. So Christian did a great job with the with this video. We wish we could show the other side, but we're gonna pass on that at the moment.
Ken, that's an HO set, not the N set, right?
Yes, this is
okay.
HO scale. I actually have the N scale set in the office as well that we got to raffle off next time around. So this week will be the HO set, and we're gonna do a raffle. So Christian, Doug, Brendan, I'm not sure if you want to think of a question or something we could pick out a winner for.
I'm going to leave it up to Christian and Brendan.
Oh no.
Brendan, you have something in mind?
Mine was a terrible one. I just said, how many times is Thomas's name dropped in the series? And I was like, I don't know the exact number to that, so I immediately thought of that. Don't do that one.
Well, we got to know the answer first.
Maybe here's a good question. In what episode did we find out Annie and Clarabelle's names, or were Annie and Clarabelle first named?
That's a good one. Yeah, for the set, that would make sense. That's a good question. I like that one.
What episode? Let's see how many people got this.
Let's see what comes in.
And one hint is that it wasn't the very first episode.
That wasn't an answer. He was just talking about the sets.
There we go. I'm starting to see it.
Oh, wow. All of a sudden, 30 things came in.
Oh, yeah. I see all of them coming in right now.
Yeah.
Thomas saves day. Thomas under guard.
And technically there are two answers, Ken, because the UK and the US had two different titles for this episode. So
here we go.
You got to go with the first right answer that came in, whether either country.
Christian with the trick questions.
Well, I see lots of answers coming in.
Wow.
You're signing that too, right, Christian?
Yeah, and I like some people, they actually put both titles. They put slash. That's smart. You know your knowledge very well.
I just see it coming in. It's just back to back, same thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is good. I can't even catch up with the amount of comments of people guessing, and it's amazing, the train knowledge, the Thomas knowledge.
Always impressive.
I just saw wonky whistles.
Get out of
Doug
here.
in the guard.
Worst episode of the series. Get out of here.
Instead of Thomas in the guard, they did Doug in the guard.
Doug in the guard.
Oh, man.
Wow. Christian, you're going to have a fun time picking a winner.
Definitely.
Looks like there's definitely a consensus.
All right,
Yes.
so maybe let's get Brendan rocking and rolling. We'll let the guesses come in, and I guess by that time maybe we'll do a halftime recap right before Doug on maybe the two different answers that Christian
is alluding to, and set everyone up for a trick question. So, but we'll let it roll with Brendan.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Brendan. I go by the name Brendan Reese 10 on YouTube. I've been making videos about trains with faces since 2008. I make custom models and stories based on those models. It's been a long journey to get where I am now, and I'm happy where I am. You know, like the collection behind me is this is years and years worth of collecting and just enjoying the show in general, and seeing the passion grow and change based off, you know, how my life went. And I'm happy where I am today. I wish I could say I have every single Bachmann model on the shelf, but I do have a majority of them. I do love going out of my way to, you know, there's a word in the toy community called toy hunting. I guess I can call it model hunting, where we go out when a new model releases, like, because I know Ryan's just about to come out, so we're gonna go hunting for Ryan soon, and hopefully be able to, you know, drive up to Train World and pick them up or something up there. Maybe Christian and Ken can hold one for me, like a little signature on it.
Cool. How'd you get into Thomas, Brendan?
I got into Thomas when I was about, I think, 2 or 3 years old. My mom bought me the figure 8 starter set, and the wooden railway figure 8 starter set.
Right.
And then I got like VHS tapes. I only think we owned one VHS, and then the rest of them were just kind of constantly rented from the video store. And sadly, the tape that I had, it did not stand the test of time because it is gone. You know, all the replays, it's just destroyed. Thankfully, I have like new copies and of that. It was Cranky Bugs for the fans, and people were wondering. Yeah, season 5 was, so it was born in '97, so season 5 was like just releasing about the year after in '98, and I'm glad I grew up with the classic era and with season 5, because that is such a chaotic season, and I think that's probably what dragged me to it the most. And to this day, I'm still collecting stuff here and there. You can see, oh, wrong way, this massive shelf, and I got this guy over here, and it hasn't gone away. And I could thank my mom for being very supportive over my hobbies and interest, and taking me to all the train shows and all the events for a majority of my life, and just being there and supporting. So I want to thank my mom for that. I don't think she's watching this. She might be hearing this, but I want to thank my mom for that. So that's how I got into the funny blue train.
Very nice.
Awesome.
Great story.
Mm-hmm.
That was when there were Blockbusters around.
Yeah, that's where we used to go. We go to the Blockbuster, you know, the mom and pop video stores. Like,
yeah,
it was so much fun being able to find like the Thomas tapes on the shelves and seeing that they weren't stock, because a lot of the times they were, you know, rented, so you couldn't. It was kind of like up to whenever you would show up if they would be there or not. And it was kind of like a fun little like 50-50 guessing race to be like, oh, we're gonna be able to watch the new Thomas tape, like, are they gonna have the new one in stock? And
yeah,
you know. Great. I love those times. It's fun to remember those.
Yeah, I experienced that too at my local library all the time. I remember like when, you know, the season 6 ones came out, like Percy's Chocolate Crunch and James Red Balloon, and then the season 7 ones came out. And as a kid, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, yes, like finally a new tape. And I would just constantly, like, my parents had a rule where I could only take out 2 at a time because they didn't want me to like go crazy with it or something. But like,
I think 2 at a time is pretty good. I mean, even like as a kid, I could tell my parents didn't want to keep hearing, you know, them the same story repeated 50 times. So
right. But yeah, no, I mean, we would go to the library at least like once every 2 weeks, and I would always take out 2 new tapes, and it was just always a fun way to get out of the house and then sit down and relax, just enjoy the beautiful model work and stories of the older Thomas series. But I agree, Brendan, season 5, that was, you know, my first exposure to Thomas too, so I completely understand that experience. And once you experience season 5, especially at that age, it's like part of you because of how great that season is.
It won't go away.
So
that's a good thing.
Oh, very, very good. I love this like the brand and what it's like, the changes, like, you know, to some people could be like 50-50, but like the fact that he's still around to this day is like a weird testimony, a test of time. He's been around for like over 75 years in different mediums. It's crazy. And I'm really glad, Bachmann, that, you know, Doug, you guys have been making these models, because when, like, real quick story, when I was a kid, I saw the when you guys were promoting the Bachmann models. This is like 2002, 2003, when they were brand new. Percy and Thomas, like the sets came out, and I was at a train show. I believe it was in the Valley Forge. It was King of Prussia Valley Forge convention center, which is now I think some like hotel now.
Yeah.
You guys were there, and I saw the images, and you guys had like prototype images, and you guys had the models on display, and it was such a vivid image because I saw it for a split second. I went, wow, those are the best things I've seen in my entire life, and I was like, I don't know, 4 or 5, and I was like, that is blowing my mind.
Oh, that's awesome! What a great story.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is going way back. I know the show you're talking about. So well, I'm glad we were able to inspire you, and to see where it's led. I can't wait to see what you have to show us.
I have a lot.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Excellent.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see it.
They're all up here. I actually can't. I got to tilt the camera up, but I do have the large scales hanging out up there. I have James, Thomas, and Percy. They're hanging out just right up there.
Cool.
Beautiful.
Yeah, they're hanging out right up there. They got a lot of decorations going on.
Wow, and a huge cranky too.
Yeah, that's some. I think that's the Trackmaster talking cranky. He's weirdly in scale. Like I think he's supposed to be a lot bigger, but like he's huge.
Wow.
Well, it's appropriate for large scale, that's for sure.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna pull the camera up so you guys can. Oh, this stuff is mirrored, so this is gonna be a little weird. So I got up here. I got a good chunk of the mainline stuff. I have engines like 1 through like 11. Emily, Rosie. I have some of my custom sitting over here, and then down here I got like got Arian, Burt, Spencer. I got Daisy right there. Paxton and Diesel, Salty Mavis. I have a good chunk of them. Oh yeah, and then the narrow gauge are right here. Except for Peter Sam. That one's a custom because I haven't gotten my hands on Peter Sam. I really want Peter Sam.
That is a great collection.
Yeah, thank you. And then I got tons of rolling stock. There's a lot. I'll pull them out like I guess one at a time. But I really wish I could say that I still had my first Bachmann Thomas Doug, but sadly I think he got lost in one of the moves a couple years ago. But he was standing the test of time, even though he didn't run anymore. He was just like this little beat up Bachmann model that I got at maybe too young of an age, and he did last a long time, but I sadly don't have him anymore. I wish I did. Maybe he's hiding in a box somewhere, and I'll just find it when I'm like 80 years old and be like, oh.
I hope you find him sometime.
I hope so. I miss that little guy.
Brendan, two quick things.
Yeah.
One, so you're more of a collector than you actually run the trains, correct?
I wish I could say that I could run the trains a lot more often than I could, because I absolutely I do a weird thing because when I customize the base Bachmann models that are released, I do make them in a way very similar to the show props where they're basically you can still run them, but you got to be careful because they're now fragile pieces they're technically props at this point are now like fragile pieces because like all the stuff that's added to them is like could break off. Like I've had instances where I've dropped my Thomas so many times and the whole thing was fine, but always the buffers came off, and it's just because I would just glue them straight to the surface rather than drill a hole like the way that the models actually have them done. And they'd always pop off. And I could say that now I've been converting them to DCC, and I know that Bachmann, you're releasing I think DCC Sound Thomas and Percy soon, so very excited.
Soon is a dangerous word, but yes, we will be releasing them.
I just say soon because it's just it's whatever.
That's what it
sounds good.
On the website coming soon.
Yeah,
that's right.
I'm coming to soon. Yeah.
We're gonna get 50 emails tomorrow. Did you get it in yet?
I'm sorry.
Brendan said
just
soon.
apologizing.
No worries.
What were we talking about with the DCC stuff? I've been converting them to DCC so I could bring them to club layouts that I've become a part of, and it's just really nice to be able to see them. I keep shaking the table. I gotta take my elbows off. It's really nice to be able to see the engines just run on a layout that is bigger than maybe like a starter oval, which is nice. Like, don't get me wrong. I love just putting an oval on the ground and just watching it go around and staring at it for like an hour, and then you're like, oh, it's already dark outside. It is a very therapeutic thing, and I love when my friends come over. We'll set up like a big, huge table in the living room, and then we'll just put like 4 or 5 loops, and we'll just run the engines for like hours, and we'll just stare at them and just have conversations. And oddly sounds like rain when the engines are just running around. It's therapeutic in a weird way, and I love it.
Very cool.
I hope more people are able to do that, but yeah, the models I'm very happy about. Even a lot of them I actually have, I think they haven't been modified much past like their basis, because a lot of them are really good. I really do like what you guys have been putting out the last few years, and I'm, like I said, I mentioned it earlier, but I'm super excited for Ryan. He's one I want to get day one, because it's just Ryan is one of my favorite CG characters. So I'm glad you guys were able to announce him, and along with Daisy, I got Daisy not long after she released too, and she's right over my shoulder right there. So
awesome.
Excellent. If you don't mind, a quick shipping update on Ryan. I know I gave shipping information before, and there was a delay, but now the new deadline that I'm pretty darn confident is going to be mid-May. So he is coming. Sorry for the delays, but he's on the water to us now. So and I've got shipping confirmation, as I said, so you can look forward to him about that time.
Oh, that's all. He's gonna be just in time for Memorial Day.
Sounds good.
Yeah, that's it. That's extremely exciting. Thanks for the update, by the way.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Now, Brendan,
go.
Sorry, no, Ken, you were saying?
Yeah, no, I see behind you. That kind of looks like a dealer display. How'd you get that?
Oh, that one. Oh, I was looking at the models for some reason. I'm like, what? Oh, so I think at one point, a lot of toy shops, especially I think in the late 2010s and into, I guess more recently, with Toys R Us closing down the U.S., Toys R Us had a bunch of these, and other places that toy shops that no longer would sell Thomas Wood because it kind of died off for a little bit until the new range came back. They're actually down there somewhere, but I was on not eBay, no, it was in Facebook Marketplace, and I was looking around, and one of these popped up, and I'm like, oh, I've been really wanting to get these. I have a couple friends who have one, and I was like, awesome. I need because these things are cute, just goes up like a little bit there. So I really needed like a bigger shelf to hold my collection. This isn't all of it. I guess the majority of the stuff I really want to have on display. But it was on Marketplace. It was a really good price. I kept seeing the price drop, and I just snapped and went, I'm gonna go get it. And it almost didn't fit in the car, so that was really scary. Drove an hour away to go get it, and it's like, oh, it doesn't fit in the car. Luckily, they were really nice about it, and we took the whole thing apart and we stuffed it in the car. Or like, I brought it home and I set it up by myself, which is the worst decision because this thing is like a monster. It weighs so much.
Yeah, that's big. That's awesome.
It's a great display if anybody wants. If they find one, and you put all your Bachmann stuff up there,
Yeah, very cool. It's nice. It looks really professional.
Yeah. I haven't been to Train World yet, and I really want to get out there sometime. Do you guys have one of those? Like a couple of these displays?
We used to have the old ones.
Like the old clickety-clack, old style ones. Yeah.
But now we just have those guardrails with the Thomas and Friends. We have that for the wooden product and stuff like that. But those were really neat. Those that goes away maybe like, gotta be like 20 years ago. It's,
wow. Like no, don't say that because then that starts hitting my brain. It's been so long.
But very cool. Neat stuff.
Thank you.
Awesome. Now, Brendan, can we take a look at some of your models?
Oh, yes, we can. Let me put the little thing. I'm doing this on my phone, so I can just like lift it up wherever I want. So I don't think I can flip my camera around, but we'll do my best to do this without my weird face in the way. So let's get in there. There we go. Kind of.
I mean, if it's easier, you can keep the camera in the same place and then bring each model up to the camera.
You're so smart. Let me just do that instead. Okay, so I think I'll bring Thomas.
They want
Thomas.
Stephen.
Everybody wants Thomas, so I'll bring Thomas down, of course. So hopefully I set the camera in the right way, but this is my, there we go.
That's beautiful.
This is my custom Bachmann Thomas. It uses a 3D printed chassis. The chassis itself is from a Bachmann Thomas, and the wheels are swapped from Donald and Douglas. I thought they matched the on-screen appearance a little bit more. And the side rods are also from Donald and Douglas. These were the biggest pains because I had to cut them and measure them and splice them down and make them a lot shorter. And I could tell you right now that is probably the hardest thing I had to do for a model. It was a lot of trial and error, and I'm glad that it came out the way it did. Because at first he didn't run like backwards for the longest time because I did something wrong, and eventually I went and I was like, okay, I'm gonna tidy him up. I'm gonna polish up the side rods one day, and I went and did that. And I guess because the side rods overheated, maybe they stretched and moved a little bit with the soldering, and he ran backwards, and he has no issues now. And I'm like, what did I do? So, yeah, he's one of those. Let me get out of the way so the camera stops focusing on my face. But he's one of those projects that I never expected to do because I was pretty satisfied with my base Bachmann model that I have modified as well, but I have him right here. So let me just pull him out. It is a two hands. This is just the modified straight Bachmann Thomas, made to look like his CGI counterpart, and he has Edward wheels as well. And this guy has served me really well over the last few years. He does need another refurbishment with those wheels. He does not like to run around corners anymore, so he'll run perfectly down straights. But he hits a corner, he's like, not doing this. You gotta go full maintenance mode and fix me because I'm not doing this. But he's a runner and he's a track star. He has lasted the test of time and he's still kicking it to this day. So I'm glad he's still around.
Awesome. And Brandon, what did you use for the face for the smile?
Oh, the face. To be honest, the face was a custom. Oh my god. I believe the face. Let me get out of the way again. The face was made by Rexecutions on Twitter, and this was gifted to me. So I don't honestly know if it's Rexecution. So if I'm wrong, I know someone in the comments is going to say something and prove me wrong. So if they do, thank you, because I don't want to get wrong and have people message and be like, "Yo, give me the face." So, but yeah, that is
that for me, man. That is the face of Thomas right there. That is
gotta love that man. Classic face. Love classic face a lot.
That's the face I remember.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly why when I was making him, I was kind of into the project a little bit, and then as soon as I got that face, I was like, I painted it up and I put it on the model. The model was not even finished yet, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna finish this because I didn't at that time really care to push that project out. And that face changed everything. And I love that about the models in general, in the Bachmann models. Like, if the face isn't satisfying to you, you could slap your own face on and it could change how you feel about that model, whether it's good or bad. And I love all the products. So, like, I have all of them. I have, I think, like 15 Bachmann Thomases. So, like,
wow.
I'll pull out some of them, like, later, like, just in general. But, like, especially nowadays that you guys have been pumping out the new CG stuff, and when you have those faces on it, you could change the face and it'd be like a weird different face, and it kind of does change the model. The face matters a lot with the trains, and if you have something that is super accurate or something that you remember seeing on screen, it's like the model could be something that is people don't like, but as soon as you change that face, it just heightens the model. So like every time you guys come out with the model, it's just that face is always just, it's usually most of the time it's like spot on, and it's like that looks so good, and that looks, and it makes the model like shine. And it's like if there are any flaws on it, it's like no, but the face, amazing.
Well, I like the fact that you are also talking about customizing them to your preferences, and it's a way to vary things and keep the interest in one particular model going with the variation. I think that's great.
Well, yeah, it's. I think that's like one of those things where it's like the model. It is like it's a mass-produced model made by you guys, and at the end of the day, it's like you could customize it and make it your own because it's your Thomas. And at the end of the day, it's still a Bachmann Thomas at its core. And I love seeing when people modify them. And it's like, he's got a different face, or they changed they changed the buffers, the whistle. And it's like you can still see like the Bachmann Thomas underneath it, but you can see that it's that person's own Thomas. And every Thomas has an individual personality to them. And no matter what, like Thomas, like Edward James, any engine that you guys make and any engine that people modify, it's interesting because people could just see it as a blur. It's like, oh, it's just another Thomas, of the millions. And then when you get a quick look, you get closer, you can see that person's personality shining through that Thomas. And that I think is very special about when people customize them, even if it's just a face,
Yeah.
It's
And
a great philosophy.
Yeah. And I think that's why, it makes the Thomas fandom so unique and interesting and captivating, and it makes everyone keep on going with it, because you are able to do the modifications and, tweak it here and there to your personal preference. It's not just you buy it out of the box and that's it. It's then it would just be done and over. Everybody's tweaking, making these mods. It's kind of like pimp your ride, or just making all these modifications, and it's fun. It's cool. People do it with cars. People do it with other hobbies, and why not Thomas the Train?
Kit bashing is one of those things that it was a terminology that was brought up. I learned about just a few years ago, and I love when people would take different pieces from other cars, or as I've seen some crazy Bachmann modded Thomases out there, and it's like I don't know what goes through people's minds sometimes when they make them, but I swear to God, I've seen a spider Thomas where it's a Bachmann Thomas but it has spider legs. I'm like, what? Okay. And I've seen people make a World War II modified Thomas. Grimy. He's got war damage on them, and gas tanks and stuff. I think that was Train Boy. Lance made that, actually. I think one of those, and it's just really cool to see those different variations, because it's their personality being put onto that train. I can't get over how much I love that about the hobby and the fandom.
And actually, speaking of which, don't you have a graffiti Thomas somewhere?
Oh yeah, I do. So I did a story where Thomas and Percy fought, and Thomas stays at some nowhere yard overnight because he can't get back to the shed, and he wakes up in the morning to being graffitied.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's this is a Thomas I've had for a while, and I did at the time before I made the new 3D printed Thomas, it was this guy, and I had to modify the other Thomas so he would match him closely, but I didn't want to go and put the entire work, but he used a lot of the same parts, and he was also already grimy, so I was like, this is perfect for the story. So and then there's that, I'm pretty sure people have seen it, there's this artwork of Thomas sleeping, and then there are two two teenagers spraying graffiti on his side, and I was like, I want to make that an episode or story. So I went and used that as a basis, and he has all the graffiti now.
That's pretty cool. That's really unique.
He's been around the block.
He's very much been around the block. He looks like a Philly engine now.
That's right.
Maybe I'll send him over to Bachmann. Maybe we'll get a refurbishment or something.
Don't be dissing Philadelphia now.
I'm not dissing Philly. I think that the graffiti art out there is pretty nice. I know it's against the law, I guess, but it's cool looking. I also wanted to show off more of my customs, because recently, back in February, I showed him off. I made a custom Gordon. He's also 3D printed, but he uses the Bachmann Gordon chassis. I gotta get out of the way because the camera's like, whoa, dude, nice face. So let me get up for Gordon. There we go. He's all 3D printed. The 3D prints that I've been mentioning so far have been made by my friend Noah, the LBSE Thomas. They pump out so many of these body shells to be used, and extra parts and whatnot. And I love using them because it's you can heighten the model to whatever you want it to be. You could make whatever you want with the basis of that Bachmann model. And this Gordon does use a Bachmann Gordon chassis. I thinned the side rods down. What else did I do? The pistons have been modified. So let me just get around the front. They have some extra details done to them. I cut them in the place where the model in the show has. And I know Bachmann, you guys wouldn't do that because that's kind of dangerous, because you could have the piston rod could come out and potentially jam. So thought you guys didn't do that. But the bogey in the front, his pony truck, that's from a Spencer. So Spencer no longer has his front bogey, sadly. So I'll have to order that off the parts store. But he's been a long, fun project. The face was also, I believe, made by Rexecutions. So he he's come along. It's interesting to do something like Thomas that you're so used to doing, and then jumping to like a big tender engine, and it's just a different challenge altogether. When you think that you have it down, you move to this completely different engine, and it's just it just tricks the mind and makes you angry.
Like, whoa, you really think you're ready for this?
Yeah, I was working on them, and as soon as I was doing the paint, I got to the pinstriping, because for my pinstriping, a lot of people do water slide decals, which would be better, especially at this scale. But in the TV show, they used vinyl stripes for the models, and I wanted to do that myself. And it is so painful to do that, especially at this scale, and having to curve the vinyl lining for the wheel arches. I'll just put them back up for reference, but having to like curve the vinyl to fit, and having to do the windows, which thankfully I had like pre-cutouts for some of this stuff, or I would have lost my mind. I almost lost my mind doing just the front windows, because they're just in a weird spot. And at the end of the day, it's a fun learning experience that I wish a lot of more people would dive into, because I know for the longest time for me, I was never comfortable going and making these like big kit bashes and heavily modified models, because like I guess there's like that fear that a lot of people have that like maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I'm not there yet. But once I did, I modified up the base Bachmann Thomas to look like more close to the CG counterpart. I felt like I was ready to do other things. And when I did Thomas, like the 3D print that I showed earlier with the classic face, that really changed my perspective and went, you know what, you can do this. And I urge people to try their best to go out there and, play with what they have, because you always want to start small, but then just work your way up. Like if you have a little bit of fear, go for it. Like you can't. If you mess up, you mess up. That's the greatest part about this hobby is it's a learning experience from both a modeler and a manufacturer standpoint. It's a learning experience.
I can really appreciate how much work you put into those that vinyl lining. That very impressive. And how long on the to modify the side rods to thin those down? That must have taken a long time.
I did it in one night, and it was.
Oh, really? Wow. Good for you.
Yeah, it was a long night. I believe I did it like a little test a couple of years prior, and when I did it, I was like, because when you get too hot with metal, sometimes the metal can crack and break if you're too heavy with it, because I believe that they're made of like some die-cast brass material. And I broke the side rods so many times. Luckily, I had spares for it, and I gave up on that. And I came back to it later, and I went full on into it. My friend Caleb Train, he did it first, and I was like, okay, you know what? I have to do this. So I went and did up the side rods, and it was an experience, because it's really hot metal, especially when you're grinding it down. And I did burn myself a lot doing it, but I'm happy with how it turned out. And hey, the thing a lot of people have to realize about this hobby is you're going to get hurt, whether like one way or another. It's just bound to happen.
Well, the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, I don't want to like discourage people from that, but like it is a great hobby. I love just this hobby is just really fun. It's expensive, but it's such a fun hobby. I don't do anything else but play with trains. So I love it. I actually wanted to show off Gordon's tender too. I never pulled that up, but Gordon's tender's also been modified as well to, let me see if I can get my finger right there. Yeah, there we go. Been modified to closely match his on-screen counterpart, because he's, like I said, all the 3D prints have been based off the season 3 and 4 appearances. The internet is a very vast place, and now that we have the measurements for them and the pictures and references, it's a lot easier to make these a possibility now. And it was a very cool experience, because I like the base Gordon tender, and I wanted to build upon that. Like the coal load is a removable coal load. It's just a false bottom now, but it's just a little piece I can put in there. And if I want to make him look like he doesn't have any coal, I can just pull it out. And it's just all around. It's an experience to modify these. And the lining itself was also made by my friend George, and that is his number 4. And those are the easiest things to put on the models. Everything else is just pain.
Very
I
cool.
love it though, but the numbers are they're really crisp, and I think the numbers are another thing that you put that on the model, and it's like it heightens them again. It's like, you know, it could go from just looking like a Gordon, and then you put like the Thor on, and even with the base engines too, it's like that brings to life the engine more, and kids remember those numbers. They're very basic numbers, but it's just something that sticks in your head. Like you're going to remember the way the font looks. When you make these models, you're so particular, especially with me, where I'm so particular how things go. Where if that 4, that number 1, that 3 is not the same font or exactly the same I see on the prop or in the show, I won't take it. I won't put it on. I won't let it touch the model until I know it's perfect.
It's nice to have good standards.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm gonna pull my other model down. I haven't shown this one off yet properly, but I have. Oh, these are 2 pieces. I have just recently finished, almost finished, my custom James season 3 inspired as well. This one, actually, funny enough, I'll grab them in a minute, but I'll pull them up for you guys. It's my custom James I've been working on. He uses a Busy Bee James chassis as his donor. And the tender is from Edward as well, because the prop is a little thinner than the Bachmann one, so I had to go with a thinner tender. Because it looked a little weird if he was coming around the corner and had like this like thicker tender. It just wouldn't look good. But I do have the basic one that looks good. But this is just another project that I had a lot of fun with, and he's been another learning experience because the side rods are thinned on him too. He also had a wheel swap. I swapped him with Edward wheels this time instead of doing Donovan Douglas. And his pony truck was shortened. I removed a lot of die cast in the front so he could screw into the body. The tender has a lot of modding done. I even gave him a tail lamp. I know that's not accurate, but I thought it looked cool. And he's got little like screw links on and everything to closely match the show. Lamp irons are made from like pins. He's just this is another model. It's like every time I make one of these guys, it feels like an improvement, and it's really nice to see. Feel proud about the progress going on, even with the minor details. I could go into details about how much this project made me angry, because James was the smoothest project until I started messing up with the paint. I peeled the clear coat up by accident, and I've never done that before. And I almost gave up on James, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going back to the base. I don't care anymore. It was a long process to clean that up, and I'm happy where he is today. And he went a lot smoother. Don't get me wrong, he went so much smoother until I went through those issues. I think I lost my mind with Gordon, but when I hit James, I thought I was going to lose all of it, and he was going so smooth. Maybe I just shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah, the work all pays off. It looks fantastic. And what's the handrail material? Is that just a brass rod?
I believe they're piano wires, actually. Yeah. So
wow.
It's a type of brass rod, and then the handrail knobs themselves, if I can. Oh my God, this mirrored stuff. The handrail knobs are made of brass. So, but because I didn't want to paint them, because I thought maybe I can polish them and make them look really shiny. But then over time, that shine kind of dies, and I'd have to keep polishing them. So I'm gonna have to be forced to paint them silver. But for the time being, I think it works because James just has that beautiful brass lining going on his boiler, his firebox, and his dome currently is temp color, but it is something I would love to get closer to a shininess, like make it look like real brass. But
looks fantastic.
Thank you. He's been modified to run on DCC. And it's in the tender. I'd have to pop the tender off to show. Thank God the tender's come off. So, I could show this really quickly. This is the cutout, because the DCC chip sits in his tender.
Right.
And I made these false doors very similar to the prop. They come from the cab instead of the tender, to hide the wires so you don't see them. But yeah, just right in the tender is like his DCC chip, and the wires just feed right into the motor right there. So it is
nice.
It's a process.
Nicely done.
Thank you. I'll have to find James, Busy Bee James, in a minute. I know I have his body around here somewhere, so I'll have to show people that I really did use him. And don't get me wrong, I love Busy Bee James. It was versus using my old James, which doesn't run that well anymore because I need to service him, or use the brand new Busy Bee James I've had sitting around for like about a year at this point, not really doing much other than just looking like a little goofball on my shelf. I went and used his chassis, so I eventually do want to give him a chassis back because I do like having that model pop in and out of like a background of a video or bringing him to the club and people being like, "What the heck is that?" He's a funny little dude. Currently, I have been working on fixing up these models recently, and I really do want to do Percy and Henry. And those body shells are being reworked to be even more accurate to what's seen on screen. And I'm very excited for that because they all use the Bachmann stuff at the basis, and it's really cool to see them evolve from what you have from the factory versus what you can do with them at home. And I think that's a lot of fun. That's what kit bashing. I could go on again and again and how much I think kit bashing and making the model your own is an important thing. And if that's not your thing, like the base model's okay. Like that's totally fine. Like you can do that. Like I still love when I would go to like a friend's house when I was younger and I didn't have much Thomas models. I had more of the toys, but I really wanted to get into the models because I thought they were just the coolest thing as like 10-year-old me. And I would go to some people's houses and they would have like a Gordon or like a Toby or a James, and I never had those. I only had Thomas and Percy for the longest time. And you see those and you go, "Whoa, that's so cool! That's so accurate!" And it's like, and it is so crazy to see like very close representations to what you see on screen. And for a kid, especially a young people, it's like that is weirdly eye-opening. And I'm glad Bachmann, you guys got the license for that because it's. When I was a kid and I saw them every time, I always wanted to buy them. I always wanted to get one of the starter sets. But my dad said this one thing that stuck with me for so long, where he was like, "Oh, you see," because I think it was when Thomas was brand new, when the sets just came out, and it was up like on a high shelf. And I went, "Oh, I want that one." And my dad looks at me and looks at the store owner and goes, "Well, you see, kid, it's actually made of glass and it's very fragile. So if you touch it, it might break." And I went, "Huh. Okay," and I was convinced. For the longest time, I thought model trains were like these extremely like delicate things, and they are. But like these extremely delicate things, the moment you touch them, they shatter in your hands. And I was so scared to get into the hobby for the longest time. So you just got to be careful what you tell your kids because that stuck with me so hard for so many years.
Well, I'm glad you figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, I eventually grabbed one. I think at like a store. It was just I think some kid was probably trying to take one. And from the box, and I saw it, and I was like, and I was holding it in my hand. I'm like, this isn't fragile. I squeezed it in my hand. I'm like, this is hard plastic.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's just the memories and the things that I've been told about. Like Bachmann has always been there in my life, which is just so weird to think about how many times I would be at a store, a model train store, and I would always be like, "Where's the Thomas stuff? Where's the Thomas stuff?" And I would always gravitate and just stare at them in awe. And for young kids, like I said, what they see on screen, if they see something that is so close to that in real life, it's like, it's so eye-opening, and it's just like, you don't know what to do. And like, you just stare at it and go, "That's beautiful." And then like a teardrop comes out.
That's great. Well, you certainly run with it since those first experiences.
Mm-hmm. It's always been there. Bachmann's always weirdly been around in my life. And when I got my first Bachmann Thomas set, it was just the normal circle starter set back in, I think it was 2004, Christmas. I was so excited. After I opened all my presents, I just disappeared. Like, there's a recording of it. I just disappeared. And my dad's like, "Oh, where'd Brendan go?" And I'm in my room, and I had the set already set up, and I had Thomas running, and I had him, he would just run around the floor. I had him run for hours. I think at one point I made him fell asleep, and he was just still running. He still tested time for forever. It was just so, like, to finally have that in your hands is just such an exciting feeling to get, the butterflies kicked in, and then you're just sitting there just going like, "Yeah!" It goes around the circle.
That's awesome.
And it's just, that's the start. And that's something I love when, when you see the kids get really excited when you have the models at like a train show or at a club. You see the kids get excited over, the trains, like the steam engines, especially because it reminds them of Thomas, because Thomas, of course, is a steam engine. And the moment they see something that's short or something, it's closer to Thomas, they get even more excited. And as soon as they see Thomas on the set, even if he's not moving, he's just sitting in a shed or, he's off just somewhere far away, that kid's world lights up so much. And I know exactly how that feels. I know exactly how that used to feel. And seeing that happen when, I bring my Thomas to the club or to open houses, or in general, I see it in public when at like a train Christmas show. When you see that kid light up and that child gets so happy about seeing Thomas and seeing him jump around and pointing like, Mom, Dad, Thomas, it brings like some great serotonin feeling. Like, yeah, I like this blue thing, and I'm glad it makes people happy. It's a wonderful feeling.
Well, it's a great way to pass on the hobby to other people. So thank you for doing that. I think you're sharing yourself and your talent, and if you inspire other people, I think that's a wonderful thing. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome. Can we take a look at a few more models before we transition to the reveals today?
So, what can we look at? Because there's a lot.
Well, how about a diesel engine? Because we saw some steam engines, maybe a diesel engine now.
Because I know they're right here. I'm trying to figure out which one. You know what? Let's look at this guy, because I have sold this guy recently, and I have to ship him to the new owner. But since I have him out on display for now, here's a modified Bachmann diesel turned into the character Splatter from Thomas and the Magic Railroad. It's just very much a repaint, but the mods that have been done are the lettering. That's custom vinyl lettering that I laid on. My friend Noah, again, LBSC Thomas, made those for me. I cut out the windows. Oh yeah, there they are. Cut out the windows and put a glazing in there, so it has some type of like depth. There's a lamp on there. What else we got? He's not weathered because I never got around to it. I really wish I could have, but I think he came out really well. It was really hard to get the color scheme correct because you have the base color and then the weathering makes it a lot darker. And when I was making it, I had to look at a bunch of reference photos, toys, promotional images, and they're all painted differently slightly in certain areas. And I'm like, wait, what is correct? I don't understand why he keeps changing colors. And I eventually settled on what I have here. And that face is actually from a molded Hornby Arian Burt, because for some reason, Hornby decided that they were going to use Splatter and Dodge's faces for Arian Burt. So maybe they were going to make Splatter and Dodge. But, I actually put it to good use, and it's sitting on the diesel model now. And it is, it's one of those things where it's like, you can use the basis and make anything from it. Like Splatter, like the one-off character from the one movie. And I think that's a lot of fun and something that you can make. Because this isn't Diesel; it's now a different character. So there he is.
Awesome.
I'll show two more. Let me see who I can grab. I think I'll grab Duck, and I'll grab Paxton. So another diesel and a steam engine. So I'll show off Duck really quickly. Duck is a modified Bachmann model, of course. It's made to look like his CGI counterpart. He has a custom face made, again, by my friend Noah, the LBSC Thomas. I wanted to give him CG faces because I wanted him to look like his CG counterpart. And the way I did that is he actually molded the Bachmann face. He molded the basic Bachmann face, and then he changed the features to match his CG model more. And he sent me a molding of a couple different facial expressions. This is just one of them. It's just kind of like he's a little bit angry, disgusted, or he's in the middle of talking about something he's not happy about. And I love displaying the models with different facial expressions because while I do like the base happy face, the neutral smiles that they have, it is funny to have them up on the shelf with different expressions and be like, in the back of your head, you're like, oh, I wonder what conversation they're talking about, even though they want to put them up there. It's just really interesting. It gives them a lot more personality, other than just like smile and wave, boys. So he has he's been modified to have a screw link. I gave him a brake pipe, what are these? The buffers. I don't know why I didn't know what they were. The buffers have actually been taken from an old Bachmann Gordon Express coach. And I was like, those buffers look really good. So I sliced them off the Bachmann coach And I put them on Duck, and they match his CGI buffers more because for some reason they're a lot bigger. So yeah, and then his buffer beam was also extended down to have that more CG appearance where a lot of the features are a bit exaggerated. Opened up his cab. I gave him like his cab window rings that he has. Those are made from like some jewelry and stuff. But yeah, now he has a proper open cab, and there's just room going on in there. Doug, I wanted to mention something before I conclude. I love how you are pushing the Bachmann models to now have open cabs, or at least have something of an open cab. So like you have like the engine passing by, and then you happen to see the cab is open, and it's like, oh, I can put a person in there, So it adds more life to the model, and you could put like people in there. Like with Rosie, she has a beautiful open cab, and you can put the crew in there, and it's lovely to have that amount of creativity, and it opens up a lot of opportunities for modelers and the fans who buy the models, of course. And I'm really excited for the figures, by the way. So
we'll certainly going to include open cabs whenever we can. Mm-hmm. And you're right, it provides the opportunity for using some figures when they come out.
Mm-hmm. It is a great gateway for that, for people to buy the figures too as well, because it's you can have them all around, hanging out and doing the things that they usually do. But when you have the engines who occasionally have the open cab that are able to, it adds more to it, and it gets people to be like, I'm gonna go to trainworld.com, I'm gonna buy all of these figurines and buy out their entire stock, and just fill the cabs and the engines and the stations with all these amazing figures. I'm so excited. I'll never get over the fact that I never knew you guys would ever announce that, and the fact that it is coming is just so exciting. I've been wanting HO figurines for so long, so super
happy
excited
to bring them along.
Super excited. And then the next model I have, which is the last one I'll show for now until if anything happens later, is Paxton. He is pretty much just the same model. I did the same mods that I did with Splatter. Don't know why I forgot his name. And open cab, glazed windows in there, just to give some sort of like a, that there could be people, working on like driving these engines. He's got a lot of base weathering going on. I got to get the light on it because you can only see some of it. That's my fault. I gave him a satin coat for some reason, and it really removed a lot of the detail that I gave to him. But he's got a lot of like scratches. He's got a lot of grime marks. There's more on this side. You got like some like damage that he has right up there. His roof has a lot of like weathering for rust, and you can see the color. There's a little bit of fade going on up there near the rust, and a lot of just splotch spots. And then the face was modified to match closer to what the CG appearance is, and just to be like more of like my cup of tea kind of thing, where you can always use the basis or you can work upon what you have. And this was just a crazy mod. I've never played with the faces. It's just I never wanted to touch them. I just wanted to have something previously made, paint it up, and slap it on. And this is the first time I really went out of my way to modify something. And it was just an experience because I needed to get because I extended like his forehead, and I wanted it to look closer. And I'm just sitting there sanding it, wet sanding. I'm like, this has to be a smooth transition. I don't want people to know that, like, like it's just like he has like a weird cap added to the top of his forehead, and getting that to look correct is it is again like an experience, and being able to see what I see on screen because it's just I'm that particular is like it is amazing. And I'm glad you guys made this, and even in large scale, which is so random when you guys announced him in large scale, by the way. I'm glad he exists because he's just gorgeous. Like, he's gorgeous. Him and Diesel, both gorgeous models, and I really want to own one just for the fact that that's how good it looks. I've seen them in person out of the box, and it's like, I will own you someday. And I'm glad you guys stuck to a lot of the details that I've seen on screen. Like, one really quickly is that Paxton's back buffer beam isn't red, it's black. And I'm glad you guys saw that when you were making the pattern for the model for the factory. And when I saw that, I was like, they did it. That's on the model. It's just really exciting to see those details come around. And I like the little touches you guys have been doing to like all the recent updates. Like when James finally got his repainted update, the silver handrails, having that the back of the tender finally filled in with red. It's like this is nice. I love seeing the improvements you guys add to the old stuff over the years, and it's really cool to have like a collection be like, oh, this is the 2002 version, this is the 2010 version, this is the version that has the pickups that are added because of the Sound Thomas, and it's like, oh, this is the one with the black hook because the Sound Thomas had that's all the other ones got it. It's like it's so interesting to see that, and then see the UK versions brought over. It's like, wow, like there's so many versions. Like, why did they keep changing? And
you're gonna need more shelves.
Oh no, yeah, I'm actually running out of space. I'm almost out of space. Like down here, I have some my friend's stuff down here currently, but like a bunch of my rolling stock is sitting behind them, and the rolling stock, I don't have enough room for the rolling stock, so a lot of them are just stacked on top of each other. Like you can see, they're just stacked. And
that's great.
They're not going to come sliding out, but like I'm running out of space. Like the top shelf where the large scale guys is looking pretty tasteful to start moving them somewhere else and put stuff up there. There's so much, and you guys just keep pumping out new stuff. Also, just happy to see Salty's back. That was one I did not expect to see you guys return to the store shelves. I'm happy because I love Salty. So
excellent.
Yeah, really happy about that. But yeah, it's an extensive collection. I don't have everything. I wish I did. I think one of these days during the year, that's my mission this year, is to get everything else I don't have. Like, I want to get Peter Sam. We have Ryan's coming out soon, and then all the narrow gauge wagons that are coming. There's so much stuff I have to catch up. I thought I was on my A game for a good couple years, and then till like last year when everything else started coming out, I was like, oh God, I can't catch up.
If only every customer was like you, Brendan.
And the good news is the narrow gauge products don't take up that much shelf space, so should make life easy for you.
They're just they're just little babies. I love them. Like I can't believe no one thought that those were ever going to happen. And when those were announced, I remember me and my friends were in like a call, and we were like, narrow gauge.
Excellent.
And when you said they're like, oh, they're made of die cast, they have die cast features, we were like, oh, they're for the big boys. And that was something that was really exciting to see. Another thing that I love to talk about with my friends is Doug. You and I talked a few years ago. I don't know if you remember this. It was during the Oaks Greatest Train Show, one of those events. I think it was like February of 2019. I think that's when you guys were out there. It was 2019 of February, I believe.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, and me and my friend group were out there, and you guys posted a photo of us to social media.
Oh, you were in the group. Yes, yeah. I remember that photo. That was a wonderful photo. I was so happy to see you guys come and meet at our booth, and to see the friendship and camaraderie was excellent.
Mm-hmm. We struck up a conversation, like you, me, and my friend like Jaden and my friend Ed, and we were just standing there just talking to you about like how much we love the line, like the Sound Thomas, how much I mentioned how much like life it brings to the layout. Like I'll get into that a little bit later, like after this bit, but that is just like I was just really excited. It's like in the fact that it was analog and it wasn't DCC and it was a little bit more affordable than what DCC would have been, was really nice, because it's like if people don't know that they want to get into DCC, buy the analog Thomas and just play with that. It changed my perspective, and I was like, yeah, I'm getting into DCC now. Like this is just such a cool. It just brings so much more life to the models, which is why the DCC ones, when they do come out, very excited for those ones. And then we struck up a conversation about future characters, like what you could bring back, because like we knew that there's some things that Mattel want and don't want, and they want like what they see on screen. Currently, and I mentioned how Daisy was brought back and how Ryan is out, and there would be a perfect pair to release like at some time. And there was a conversation where it was like maybe not. And I remember I just kept going like, oh no, like that would be so nice to have Daisy, because she's just one of those core characters that the fans really love and would love to see a model form of her. And that summer, I had my friends over and I was talking about them like the day before. About the conversation that we had, and that morning we slept in. We had our one friend Christian Brown, Thomas Fan 247. He's been on the show before. He came upstairs and woke us up, and he was like, "Guys, green coach." I'm like, "What?" And we're like half awake, like waking up, and he's like, "Green coach." They announced green coach, and I'm like, "What?" And then he showed the photo, and it was Bachmann Daisy and Bachmann. I think Ryan was announced, or it might have been Peter Sam because you mentioned Peter Sam, and we're like, did they did it? And it was like, and we woke everybody up. We're like, Bachmann's making Daisy. Bachmann's making Daisy. And
that comes out of the dreams come true. You must have been dreaming about it that night too, and it came true.
Yeah.
And it's just like and then when it was announced, and it sucks that it was right before the pandemic. It was the year before the pandemic, so it took a little while to come out because of that. But when that was like, when we saw that, we just sat there and went, that is a really weird coincidence.
Glad we could do it for you.
Yeah, just those memories I love, because it's like Bachmann always comes back into the conversation, and it's just like, how do they keep doing that?
It's a challenge, but we're happy to do it. Believe me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I can't wait to see what you guys make. I'm excited for Rebecca, and is his name Bo? By the way, is that his name? Bo?
Yep.
He's actually one of the only characters that I really liked because he just looked so silly, and the way he was like charismatic, even though he wasn't on screen for that long. He's just that interesting of a character that, in my opinion, if people wanted to, people are a little stingy, about Thomas stuff being on American layout sometimes, just throw Bo in the layout.
We hope so.
Just throw him on the layout. He'll fit right in. But the kids will be like, I know you from somewhere.
It'll be a great intro for some kids, and hopefully that'll get them started too, to enjoy become part of the fandom.
I think that's one of the last things I really wanted to dive into really quickly, because I know you guys want to probably show off Bo really soon. But my favorite conversation to ever bring up to people, and I urge people all the time to open up their mind a little bit sometimes, because there are people out there who don't like Thomas. They don't like the fact that Thomas is part of the hobby, and that is very disheartening. And I guess I can get it sometimes through some people, because it's the people they kind of run into. But at the end of the day, Thomas makes a lot of people happy, like a lot of kids, a lot of adults, teenagers, everyone of all ages. It makes them very happy. And even if it's just Thomas and not like, say, Duck, Oliver, James, Diesel 10, it's like these characters make people happy to see in a store or on a layout or at a club or at like an open house. It's like in Dale with Thomas is just another thing for something else. But like Thomas is such a huge gateway for the hobby. And the fact that Bachmann is still around producing these models to this day, this is the perfect segue for people to get into the hobby, to get into the world of trains. Thomas is the perfect setting gateway, and I can't urge people enough to have a Thomas at your layout, even if it's a base Bachmann Thomas, or if it's a large scale, N scale, and God, you guys are doing N scale now, model that the kids can see, kids can get interested, kids start with Thomas. And even if Thomas isn't there at the end of the day, Thomas will be still on the minds. Like he's the one who got them into the hobby. He's the gateway into the magical world of trains, modeling, prototype, everything all together. And I can say again, I can't stop urging people. I can't stop urging people to push that. You don't have to push it down our throats, but have something there, because this is what keeps the hobby alive. It is very, very important.
Beautifully said, and couldn't agree more. And again, it's sharing the hobby with other people, and I think that demonstration or the willingness to share the experience of Thomas with other people is important, and it can lead people on a lifetime of enjoyment like you are having.
Mm-hmm. It's still around to this day. He won't go away. He's always there.
That's good,
and it's a great thing. I love having it around. I love having the new models. I love seeing the new announcements. It's just, I will always love Thomas, even if he at some point does take a major back seat to how life goes, because life just always throwing curveballs at anyone. He will always be there, and he will always have a place in my heart. Bachmann, you will always have a place in my heart for the memories and things that have happened. Thank you, Doug, for picking up that license and keep kicking out and pushing these models, and keep doing going. We love it.
On behalf of Bachmann, it's our pleasure, and thank you for saying and sharing your experience with everyone tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. I mean, I know this stream is going to keep going for a little bit, but just again, thank you. It's an amazing opportunity to be able to speak to you and to Ken and Christian and you, Doug. Like it is an amazing experience to be able to do these and be able to be on this show. I've been wanting to do this for the longest time, and thank you for the invite again, Christian. This does mean a lot. I'm happy to be here.
Sure thing.
Great job, Brendan. Really amazing stuff that you have on display, and you could tell you're passionate, and you really love the fandom and want to build on it and want the community to grow. So that's really nice to see.
Mm-hmm. I love it. I love it a lot. It's right here.
It's right from the heart.
Yeah, let me see really quickly if I can turn around with the back of the shirt. I think does say you can get it without my hair. It says #1 Thomas fan or something on the back.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
Nice.
Nice.
Very cool.
All right, I think we're ready for the reveals. Go on, man.
Let's see.
Yeah, we got to get a Thomas T-shirt for you.
Oh. Yeah, I'll hit up you, Brendan. You can hit me up with one.
Oh yeah, I will.
I like that. Very cool. Very neat. Great job, Brendan. Great job.
Thank you.
Good job.
Hey, everybody
Thank
in the
you.
chat, give it up for Brendan and thank him for his amazing display and being on tonight. We really appreciate it. And I like those shirts. I feel like our salespeople should have a Thomas character each around during Christmas time. So I got to look into that.
Glad to be of inspiration. Doug's over here just like, oh God.
Now, Ken, sign me one up. Sign me up for one too, will you?
That's right.
Okay.
Who knows? Maybe Doug could come out here to Trainland one day, and we could all have Thomas shirts on.
Wink, wink. Wink.
Yeah, could be a part of a big day. But great stuff. Really good stuff.
Good idea, Ken.
All right. And before we turn over to Doug, Christian, do you want to, I guess, go over the recap of the raffle answers?
Oh, well, I'm going to have to do that after the stream, Ken. There's 10 million
okay.
answers in there. I was scrolling through, actually, during Brendan's presentation, just because I was curious to count and see, but...
There's a lot.
Oh my God, yeah, there were so many. Just kept coming in. Just didn't stop for like
for
20
those
minutes.
of you who posted more than once, why? Making my job even
You
more
need to be
difficult.
seen. They want the set. They want the factory error set, the factory error prop set.
Very cool. All right, so we're gonna pick out a winner at a later time, and we'll see what we can do. But thank you all for submitting to that, and thank you, Brendan. You're getting tons of praise on the chat for it. Great inspiration and stellar collection. So really great job. And without further ado, the man, the myth, the legend, Doug Blaine.
Sounds good. Thanks for the intro. I have only 2 items for you tonight. The first is a piece of track. It's already been announced and it is in stock. So I just wanted to hold that up and show that to you. This is our the European style uncoupling track, which of course works with our Thomas equipment. So this is obviously HO scale, I guess. And again, it's in stock, and I think we have a video that we could show to show it in action if you're ready to show that at some point.
Yep.
But anyway, it's great. It's manually operated. You can just roll your wagons over it and activate the switch, and they uncouple automatically. So it's just a nice addition to your railroad. And let's see it in action if you're ready. Easy peasy.
Oh wow.
So it's got the actuator there. It just pops up and pushes the pins up on the couplers, and away you go.
Very neat.
Awesome.
How dare you guys use Ryan in that video? Now you just make me want him even more.
Coming soon.
Oh, so excited.
Yeah, and it's always been a lot of times a pain when you pick up the Bachmann European rolling stock, and it's like, you got to always pick it up to uncouple them. But this track, you can leave them right on the rails, no issue. Just a flip of the switch, and you're good to go.
Mm.
Absolutely.
Really neat.
Yeah, no more having to pick up the engines and kind of crack. It looked like you're cracking someone's neck, like you're like twisting them off.
Brendan, you know exactly what I'm saying. Exactly.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So that
I've done it. What was that?
So that lifts up the coupler to uncouple it. How does that mechanism work?
When you move the switch, if you will, back and forth, it'll raise the actuator in the middle of the track. And I think there's one shot that shows it moving up, and that pushes the pins up on the couplers so that they automatically decouple or uncouple, I guess.
Very cool. Neat.
That's gonna be so useful.
There you go. There's the shot that shows it going up.
Oh, yeah.
Very cool.
That's gonna be so useful on the layouts that my friends make when we hang out. So that's gonna be so just picking them up and twisting them.
Yeah.
Makes life a little bit easier.
Just a little easier.
Very neat. And so that item number is
44470, I think. Let me see. I have it right here. Yes, 44470.
Cool. Really neat. Perfect add-on.
Awesome.
All right.
Amazing.
And now
The grand reveal.
for that guy Bo we've been talking about.
Yeah.
So here we go.
Whoa!
Whoa! That's
All
neat.
right. Got a lot of color on him.
He's so pretty.
Let me get rid of this.
Wow.
I'll show full side-on view here. There we go.
I love the shine on the broiler.
Me too. I was just about to say that, Brendan.
Yeah.
All right, look at the face. I think we do need to see the face.
You need to see the face.
All right, there he is.
Oh wow!
Nice.
There's the old man.
That's wild.
I like how he's got the mustache, Ken. You know, like I'm kind of growing one in myself.
That's
Brendan's got one.
crazy.
Who's got the better mustache? Let's put that in the chat.
Hey. Who got the
Who's
Oh
got the
my
best
God.
mustache out of all of us in the
Oh,
street?
I'm not getting in the middle of that one.
That is classic. That's awesome.
So there are, obviously this is based on our existing 440 tooling. And the paint scheme is also based on a Virginia and Truckee 440. This model, I believe, Brennan and Christian, you'll tell me if I'm right, but I think this was only in Big World, Big Adventure.
That's
Yep.
right.
Right, but we wanted to bring them out because it's just a great excuse to have an American-style locomotive on your railroad in with Thomas, and we think people will like it.
Awesome. And a few questions I have, Doug, if I could just ask.
Of course.
So it has the hook and loop coupler, right? This model.
Hook and loop coupler is on the back. Let me see if I can.
Oh,
Right.
So it's compatible with the Thomas rolling stock. So that.
Right, so that will go with the Thomas rolling stock. It does. We left our typical Easy Mate coupler on the front, just because we didn't want to leave a hole in the pilot,
Right.
or the cowcatcher rather, and so anyway, it's got the hook and loop on the back,
Awesome. And this
Easy
is
Mate
going-
on the front.
Sorry, and this is going to be a limited release.
It may be. We're not really sure. We're not. That's not definite yet. But we know, it will have some limited appeal just because it hasn't appeared that much. So it may be a limited run, or we might do it and then take a while to come back to it.
Oh, okay.
I have
It looks
two
great.
questions, Doug, if you don't mind me asking.
Of course not. Go ahead.
One, the headlamp, does it light up?
It does.
Oh,
nice. Really?
Sure. Well, it's based on our 440.
Should have
So.
started off with that, Doug. Come on.
Oh, sorry. Headlight works.
That's good to know. I'm glad, because I was thinking, I'm like, if it doesn't, I wouldn't have been upset. But the fact that it does, it's like maybe because I was like on the fence about like if I should get him like right away or wait a little bit. But I think I might get him right away because he's just such a quirky little character. I don't know. He's just so interesting.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah.
I think I remember sharing this, Doug, last summer when he was announced. But my father used to have a 440 locomotive that had a headlamp, but I believe it was Bachmann. But I'm assuming it burnt out the light or something. So I had no idea that had a working headlamp. That's all the more reason why we're going to be getting that model now. So.
All right, sounds good. So he does. We use our existing tooling. So there are some things that are missing, and no point in not being upfront about these things. But it doesn't have buffers. But we didn't want to modify the tooling, and because it would have just created issues and raised the cost and all that kind of stuff. So, but I think the approximation is darn good.
Mhm.
And so yeah, we hope you like it.
Ready?
Huh?
Is it DCC ready or standard DC?
It's just analog DC.
Analog DC. Okay.
Yeah, if it's DCC ready, I don't know for sure. It may be convertible, but it's not. It's just an analog.
Okay.
I apologize for being extra picky. I have one more question. Could we see a shot of the cab, like the cab windows, a little closer?
Sure. Let me see.
Yes. Oh yeah.
I gotta look over the camera here. Is that in focus? I can't tell.
Oh yeah, I see that the front window does have glazing, I think.
Yes, the front window has glazing. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, that's something I was wondering. And just all in all, it's an open cab. Like, could you put a figure in there if you wanted to?
It's not open all the way. It's only, I don't know if you can see in there, but it's only open halfway.
You put it in probably just put some people in the tender.
It could stand on the foot plate.
Yeah.
Sure.
I mean, I love the detail. That's so.
I think when you said like how it doesn't have the buffers, I'm gonna be really honest. That I think that was one thing that bothered me with the show is that they had engines in different countries that don't have buffers, and I was like, it shouldn't have buffers if he's American, and the fact that he doesn't, I think, makes the model just a little bit better than what the CG model was. Because
all right, we're going with that concept. I like that.
I like it more as it doesn't have them. Maybe on his tender I'll put them on, but the front probably not, because it's just more realistic that way.
Oh, here it's not coupled together. Here there is a drawbar that goes between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a bit fiddly right now, but there we go. That just shows the accurate spacing.
Okay, all right. And then one more question I had about the box. Actually, will the box come in the clamshell, or is it going to be in like where most Bachmann models come in? Like I call it the ice cube, where it's like the tray. That comes
right. It's going to be the wrap that I started with. It will have that on our standard packaging, or enclosed in our standard packaging.
Okay, all right, that's nice. That really does tell people this is different.
Yeah. So just for clarification, it's going to be still the blister pack, or is it going to be like a boxed packaging? Like
no, it won't be a box. It'll be a blister package.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. So this. I just put it down here, but this, instead of like the usual two like top and bottom tray that is enclosed in the clamshell, this will be enclosed in the clamshell, this wrap around the locomotive. So just a little bit different, because we already had that developed to protect this style locomotive, so we just wanted to go ahead and use it again.
That's good.
So in the
questions
I think
on the eyes. Did the eyes move?
No.
No. Okay.
Sorry, I should have said that from the get-go. But yeah, because this is, again, existing tooling, there wasn't room to modify the gears required to run the eyes. So this is, I think the only HO locomotive that we have that will not have moving eyes. But it's, it's for a good reason, because of the existing tooling.
Bernie, that mustache is great.
Who's that actor? Like an actor who has that mustache. He's like an old school actor that they based, I think.
Like looks like a Wilford Brimley kind of mustache. I don't know if that means anything to anybody or not these days.
Sam Elliott. Is that his name? Sam Elliott, the one with the mustache?
Don't know.
Sam Elliott? I don't remember. It's just I know they based him on an actor. I just don't remember.
Christian's the expert on the mustache. So.
Someone said my name. Not
so
quite,
anyway, there's
only here.
There. It's all good. Anyway, so there's Bo, and we'll of course keep you informed for expected delivery date. He's got a little while to go yet, but we'll get there.
Yeah, the fact that you guys have the painted sample means he will be coming a lot sooner than I think a lot of people thought.
So, well, it was from the time of announcement to this was relatively short, but again, we had the tooling, so makes it easier. Somebody just said yes, Sam Elliott. I got to look up who Sam Elliott is.
Let's go.
I don't know who it is. I got to look him up.
Yeah.
So there we have it, folks.
That's
All right.
awesome.
Awesome.
Really neat.
Oh, I
Great
like the
job,
colors on
Doug.
them. Ooh, I just want to
Yeah.
Very neat.
get my grubby hands on them and modify them just to give them some buffers. Not the front, though, because it's very American of them.
All right, Christian. So how many did you order?
Oh, well, this one I'm going to have to jump on real quick just in case it is a limited run. So I'll keep you posted, Ken.
That's right. Very neat. All right. Great job, Doug. Anything else for us or any updates?
Oh, sorry. That's all I have.
Okay. All right. Very cool.
I will say that we just one more quick thing. We did start shipping. Although we had posted online for our full catalog maybe 2 months ago, the actual hard copies are in now. So if people wanted to buy, the hard copy, they are available.
That's awesome. And Doug, a couple of things. So I was looking through the list, and I was just curious what I guess ranking what's going on for the pre-orders, and Ryan is huge numbers on Ryan. I mean, it's tremendous. So a lot of people already have their pre-orders in. And I think with today's episode, with the unveiling, I think some pre-order numbers may shift after that. And if you could get us a picture so we could update on our website, because a lot of people would like to see, what was displayed tonight. I think really neat. But
for Ryan or Bo or both?
For updated picture for Bo of the actual engine, but the pre-orders on Ryan are amazing. Everybody's pre-ordering Ryan. I couldn't believe it.
Excellent. That's good to hear.
Keep them coming. Keep them pumping.
Yeah.
That's right. So if you didn't get your pre-order, make sure you get it in, because we're talking about hundreds being ordered. It's crazy. It's really good numbers, solid numbers on Ryan. So there must be a cutoff point where we get, or Bachmann gets, where it becomes sold out. So make sure you get your pre-orders in. But really neat. And this one is Bo over here. I'm surprised by the colors. I think it really looks dynamite. So I'm excited to update the picture. And I think after tonight, a lot of people are going to place their pre-order. I saw a couple of people ordering it and wanting to order it. And Christian is now, after this scarce, so we're not sure if it's limited or not, he's getting his pre-order in for sure.
Yeah, folks, it's probably going to be a rare model at some point if it is a limited run. So get your orders in, because from seeing eBay listings, these things go for like triple, quadruple the price that they initially are sold. So yeah, man, like if you're going to unsell anything, go ahead. But it is for
like we may rerun it. I'm not sure. So just I don't want to sell it as a limited edition, but I agree with Ken. Get those pre-orders in for sure. Show your support for Train World. We certainly do, and we're all a team together here.
That's right. And also the N scale Gordon. The pre-orders on that, phenomenal. I mean, people love. I think a lot of people are just collecting them, and it's just awesome. It's become a real neat, nice, I guess, add-on. Everybody has either HO or a different series, different line, and everybody's now collecting all these different scales. It's really neat.
Terrific to hear. Maybe we should manufacture some more shelving units.
Yeah, shelving units or even Z scale. Who knows?
All right, now you're getting crazy, Ken.
The Bachmann Thomas, the N scale Thomas is like this big. You want a Z scale?
I don't know. Could be a collector's piece. You never know.
Well, let me tell you. I can tell you for sure, there's never going to be moving eyes in a Z scale Thomas.
Now you never know. Technology with advancing and stuff.
But who would have guessed narrow gauge N scale at one time?
If somebody else does it, I'm buying the Z scale with the moving eyes.
There you go. Very cool. Well, This has been an action-packed episode. We're almost at an hour and a half now. And,
Wow.
Yes, Brendan had some awesome models to share with us. Doug had a great unveiling for Bao, and Christian put this all together. Great job, Christian, on that. And what do you think, Christian?
Oh, as always, Ken, I'm super excited for the new releases, the new reveals, and Brendan, great job in your presentation as well.
Thank you.
So it's been
Awesome.
it's been a great night as always.
It's been an honor to be on the show. Thank you for inviting me again.
Cool. Well, thank you, Doug.
Great.
Thank you, Brendan.
Great to be with everyone, and Brendan, thank you for sharing your philosophy and your models and your inspiration.
Thank you.
That's right.
You're welcome.
Great job. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We really appreciate your support. And if you're interested in any of the Bachmann items that you saw today, we are taking pre-orders, and we also have tons in stock. So check it out at trainworld.com. And thank you, Christian, for putting this together, as always. And thank you. Have a great night, everyone.
Bye, everybody.